Does anything worry you? Do you have bad days? This question is from Bharti.
First of all, I don't have days. Because the days are only in your memory. In your reality, there's only now, isn't it? Yes or no? The problem right now is human intellect. See, of all the gadgets that you have, I know he's looking into his favorite gadget. What are you, Apple or Samsung you? Okay. No, because it's a religion, so I'm asking. It's almost like asking, are you Hindu, Muslim, Christian, what are you? Are you Apple, Samsung or BlackBerry? We're almost getting there, isn't it? So, human intellect, of all the gadgets that you have, even including the Apple, human mind is the most sophisticated gadget on this planet. Do you agree with me? Every other gadget has come out of this. But we are busy looking into the iPhone, completely missing the eye. Right now, for most human beings, let me not use the word most, for too many human beings, this mind is not a miracle that it actually is. For so many human beings, this mind has become a misery manufacturing machine. All the misery, human misery on this planet, where is it manufactured? Madras? No, in your mind, isn't it? What should have been the greatest miracle, unfortunately has become a source of misery for human beings. Why is this so? There are two dimensions to your intelligence. One is perception, one is the penetration of your intelligence, another is the memory aspect of it. Because of the kind of education systems that you're suffering right now, which is 100% memory-based, all you have to do is memorize something, vomit it somewhere. Your idea of being intelligent right now has become purely memory-based. Tonight, today evening at the tea party, you don't have to know anything. You just have to surf the internet, pick up some facts about that 64, T64 galaxy that nobody knows about. You get some information and throw it around. People think you're smart. Because our whole idea of intelligence has become memory, unfortunately. Once you're dipping your hand into memory, your intelligence becomes very cyclical. Because it's recycling the past in so many different ways, it looks smart for somebody who doesn't know that, otherwise it's just nonsense. Today we know a goddamn chip can record more than your brain can record. It is not intelligence. Memory is just a resource, it is not an intelligence. The nature of the intelligence and the purpose of human intellect is that it should be able to penetrate. But it has got such a huge backlog, it is identified with the memory in such a bad way, it has lost its penetration. It is like you have a knife. Intellect is like a knife, it can cut through anything. But now you have a knife where the apple is sticking. Now whatever you try to cut, it's not going to cut anything because there's a big apple sticking here. This is what has happened, a huge bank of memory is sticking to it and it's lost its penetration. This is a tremendous loss that's happened to humanity because of the nature of education systems that we have crafted. So the fundamental process of spiritual process is to sharpen this intellect in such a way that if you sit here, your memory does not influence you. Your intelligence is simply here. It sees everything just the way it is. If this doesn't happen to you, your intellect will become the source of your suffering. You will see educated people are definitely suffering more than the uneducated on this planet, isn't it so? They're also causing much more suffering. The planet is suffering mainly because of educated people, not because of uneducated people. Yes or no? The very life of the planet is being threatened by the educated, not by the uneducated, because it is a completely memory-based education. It is not intelligence-based education. We need to shift this. If the education systems are not going to shift it, as individual people, you must shift, especially if you want to be an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur means you must create an opportunity where there isn't one. That is enterprise, isn't it? There is something called as a pineal gland. Various aspects of yoga or sadhana of yoga is to move it little down, south, it's called, moving it south. This is the symbolism of Shiva turning south because his third eye moved south. What was up here came down between the two eyes. The moment it came here, he saw things that nobody had ever seen. Now, if this happens in a certain way, the secretions of the pineal, which in yoga is referred to as amrit or amrita or amritam probably in Sanskrit, this amritam either can be taken into the system to strengthen the system and increase or extend the longevity of the system. Or this amrita can be taken to create blissfulness in the system, like a drug. It can just blow you away. Or you can use this amrita to enhance your perception that you can become like thin air because everything that is here passes through you. Right now, air passes only through your nostrils and you know if it doesn't pass, you're gone. If this air can pass through right across you, some of you might at some moment felt when you're very carefree and joyful, you stood in the breeze, it feels like breeze is passing through you. And you become 100% transparent. That is because you've used your amrita to bring sensitivity to the system. So these are three fundamental ways. One is to strengthen the body, to make it like a rock, which will give a certain longevity to that person, which is considered superhuman by most people. Or to bring such a level of drunkenness and blissfulness within you that you don't care how long you live. Or to make yourself like thin air, that your perception is super hyped because there is absolutely no resistance to the system. The same secretions of the pineal gland can be used in three different ways. This amrita or this secretion of the pineal gland will play the right kind of role in the system. When I say right, in my perception, only if it enhances your perception, it is right. Because if you do not enhance your perception, your life doesn't get enhanced in any way. It only gets enhanced in somebody else's eyes. If you become like a rock, your experience of life may not change. It is just other people think you're fantastic. Well, we could have made a statue out of you and you would have been a rock. Anyway, we didn't need a human being to become like a rock. If you have a rock for a brain, this will be the problem. You're always thinking, which is a bigger rock than you, which is a smaller rock than you. Your entire life goes into this as to which is superior, which is inferior, which is better, which is worse. Endlessly you will be comparing yourself because this is the nature of a rock. This is the nature of physical reality. Once you identify yourself with physical reality, which is better, which is worse, is a natural process of thought. Only if you transcend that, can you be free from this as to which is better and which is worse. When one masters one's Mooladhara, which got referred to as Kaya Kalpa, you become like a rock. You want to make the body last for a millennia or more. When Swadhisthana sadhana is done, burst of energy happens. One can deliver a god, but you may lose your body. If you bring any sound to Manipura without opening your mouth, the very body reverberates the sound. When one is dominant in their anahata, they start hearing things. A reasonably stable person can go crazy. The moment Vishuddhi is active, you become occult competent. Disembodied beings will naturally move towards you. Agna means there is clarity. The level of freedom it gives you is tremendous. The Sahasrar is total madness. The moment energy stirs Sahasrar, you drip ecstasy. So whatever you cannot perceive through five senses, if you perceive that, then that is called as Vishesh Gyan or extraordinary knowledge. The nature of the universe can be grasped if you know the language of the inanimate, every form, how it is made. As the concerns of survival recede, human beings will naturally evolve into perceiving higher things. In the yogic system, we look at the human mechanism like this. There are five dimensions to it, there are five layers to it. Usually it's referred to as sheaths, ore it's called, that means sheath, one inside the other. One is the physical body, which is referred to as the food body, because this is essentially a heap of food that we have gathered over a period of time. The next is known as the mental body, because we ascribe intelligence to every cell in the body. There is more memory and intelligence in each molecule of DNA than you can decipher through your brain. That much of intelligence and memory is sitting right here. The third layer is called as the energy body. There are three fundamental aspects to it, but it's the first two which normally are experienced by most people, the right and the left, which has 36,000 on the right and 36,000 on the left, pathways or channels, which are described as nadis, which meet in 114 different major points, and these points are seen as possibilities. So, mysticism identifies these 114, the geography, the energy geography of the body, and how you could exploit this to transcend the limitations of the human mechanism. Now, the fourth layer is called as Vijnanamaya Kosha. What the word Vijnana means is, it is coming from two different words, Vishesh Gyan. Gyan means knowing or knowledge. Vishesh means an extraordinary way of knowing. So whatever you cannot perceive through five senses, if you perceive that, then that is called as Vishesh Gyan or extraordinary knowledge. So, we are talking about a transitory dimension which is transiting from physical to non-physical. So, the fifth dimension, this is in whatever in the New Age language in America, they're saying this is etheric body. It's not an appropriate description, it is a transitory state where physical is fading out into non-physical nature. The fifth dimension is referred to as Anandamaya Kosha, which literally translates as bliss body. This does not mean there's a bubble of bliss or something inside. It is purely non-physical in nature. Because it is non-physical, we do not know how to define or describe it. There is no definition to it, there is no description to it. We're only talking about it from our experience. Whenever we touch it, we feel blissed out. So like children, we're calling it bliss body, because we do not know what is the nature of what it is, and it is not physical in nature, so we cannot put it into definition of words or descriptions or whatever. Now to enter into this dimension is the whole process of mysticism, because this non-physical nature is further classified in terms of our experience, how profoundly you involve in it. They talk like
You can be in a fine spray of shower from this non-physical and how you will be. Or you can be drenched with it and how you will be. Or you can soak yourself in it and how you will be. Like this it is described. In this context, it's a… Here I have to surrender my logic a little bit because that's how far my logic will go. What this means is, these are referred to as different dimensions of stillness. How can stillness be of different dimensions? For example, in our experience, if you're… normally a human being is breathing somewhere 12 to 15 times per minute. Breath is very directly connected to how the mental fluctuations happen. I don't know if science has explored this, but in our experience it's very much there. Suppose naturally, not by effort, by doing the right kind of things with your system, naturally if your breath drops below 11, then you begin to understand various reverberations that are happening around you in terms of all the subsonic sounds in which the animals are communicating becomes very obvious to you. If your breath drops below 9, naturally, without controlling it, then what the plants are exuding, the plant life, what it is doing, becomes very obvious to you. If your breath drops below 6, then what the inanimate things, how they're reverberating, this is known as rithambara prajna. That means the reverberations of every form and the sounds attached to it become very clear to you. Or in other words, the nature of the universe can be grasped. If you know the language of the inanimate, every form, how it is made, what is its nature, what it is right now and what it will evolve into, or what it was yesterday and what it is evolved into, all this is becoming apparent to you. As the concerns of survival recede, human beings will naturally evolve into perceiving higher things. But the important thing is the level of static, because breath is a survival process. If you sit still, it goes down. The more still your body becomes, the less you breathe. If you bring your whole system to a certain level of stillness, not being in a hyperventilated state, then your perception goes on increasing. So as the stillness deepens, these are referred to as, traditionally there are various ways in which it is presented. It is usually called as it's called Rudra, Hara and Sadashiva. One is still, but he's vibrant, he's roaring. Another is still, but he's in activity still. Another is absolutely still. Now always that which is absolutely still is referred to be as the ultimate intelligence. Everything else, in its anxiety to be active, it is sacrificing its intelligence at a certain level to be in a state of action. But that which is absolutely still is considered the highest intelligence. It is only in Eastern mysticism, the source of creation is been always celebrated as the highest intelligence. This is the biggest mistake I think modern societies have made is, people were told God is compassion, God is love, God is generosity. These things mean something to you only when you don't have them. If you're not loved, you will look up, God should love you. If you're not fed well, you want a generous God. If you are down in some way, you want a compassionate God. But if you don't make any assumptions, if you look at a blade of grass, if you look at a flower, if you just look at the structure of an atom, one thing is, the source of creation is the highest level of intelligence that you can ever recognize anywhere. If you look at the creation, it is smack with intelligence all over the place. If we had only told people God is intelligence, we would have had a more sensible world. That's what I'm thinking and that's what I'm trying to bring it into people's experience, that the source of creation is the intelligence. If you recognize that, you try to emulate that.
Well, if you made it here, it shows you're ready to change. You're done with running. This kind of attention is rare. It's precious. Drop your city in the comments, and if you'd like, share this with someone who's also thirsty for clarity. Thank you, Big Hug, and see you soon.